Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome back to my channel. I'm getting so close to 2,000 subscribers, so that's amazing. Thank you to everybody who's new here. So for years now I've been wanting to have a go at making an epoxy resin bowl, not using a bowl mould, but by pouring it into a tray or a coaster mould, demoulding it while it's still malleable, and then you kind of push it inside a bowl to make a kind of scalloped edged freeform bowl. Put something in to weigh that down and then leave it to cure. So I have the moulds that make this, well, it's a kind of geode mould, I guess. It could be a flower mould. Wasn't in love with my results when I made these, but I think this will be a good size. That's going to be a bit chunky, so I'm probably going to pour a bit less resin than that in, just so that it's not kind of got too thick a side. You don't want it to be completely full. So this weighs 80 grams. So if I wanted to make two of these, that would be 160 grams of resin or mil. I just do it as a quick kind of guesstimate. I want to go with less than that, probably about 140, and see how that goes. And if I don't pour it all in, that's fine. Once I've mixed the resin up, and I'm going to be using the Funxim resin purely because it starts to cure a little bit faster, and therefore I can get it done today. It's now 2:30 in the afternoon, so I'm going to keep an eye on this. It might take a few hours before it gets to the point where it cleanly pulls away from the mould and will still be malleable. So this does that a little bit faster than the other resin that I have. So when I've mixed up my resin, I will of course be wearing my PPE. I've chosen some kind of sunset colours, summery sunset vibes, which is not really my vibe, but I just wanted to do something a bit different. They are mostly translucent pigments, and what I'm going to do is split the resin up into three colours and just kind of freeform pour it in, just in blobs, just to make it kind of abstract. Once it's in there, I'm going to hit it with my heat gun to get rid of bubbles. This resin's pretty good at degassing itself, but that'll be good to just kind of get it all moving around and on the go. In theory, this is a fairly simple project. I've seen Mixed Media Girl do this countless times on her channel, and I've wanted to have a go ever since I first saw her do it. So I'm looking forward to giving this a try. These are the only moulds I have that are the kind of right size that would allow me to do this, and I just happen to have these plastic bowls that look like they'll work. We'll see. So let's get started. Okay, I've switched to voiceover for this part because I'd had several non-epileptic attacks that evening. It was now 11:30 at night. I was exhausted. Listening to me trying to speak sounded like I was on sedatives, so I've muted it and sped the video up. Now, this was a bit of a struggle because this resin had been left since 2:30. It was now 11:30 at night. It wasn't quite long enough. The room was colder than normal that day, and so the resin hadn't cured quite as quickly as I thought. I was leaving fingerprints all over it, so I was just using my gloved hand to kind of rub over it and smooth those out, and that worked. That was fine. The second one really didn't want to come away. I had no choice. I had to go to bed and I couldn't leave them overnight, otherwise I'd have just had some pina colada coasters, which is not what I was going for. So I persevered and got that out. So I decided, because the two bowls were slightly different shapes, that the first one I was going to leave relatively smooth in the bowl. This one I wanted to have like a fluted edge. There's definitely too much resin here. If I do this again, and I probably will, I will use less resin because it was quite thick and difficult to kind of maneuver in such a small bowl. This thickness would have been fine for something bigger, but for something this small it was just a little bit on the thick side. So I was fluting it, but it kept kind of straightening itself out again because it just wasn't quite set enough to really stay there. So what I ended up doing is just thinking on my feet, looking around my craft room for something that I could stick in there to get it to hold its shape. I thought it was going to be alright at that point, and I realised that before my eyes I could see the fluting starting to sag and go flat again. The only thing I had that was the right size that I could get to stay there were my acrylic paint pens. So the acrylic paint pens ended up getting put in there, held in place with masking tape, making sure the tape didn't touch the resin, just so that it would push that flute down. I wasn't pushing them down a long way, I just wanted the edge to be sticking forward a little bit and just tape them in place. That's all I could really think to do. I really just didn't have any other ideas at this point. I tried everything on my desk, nothing was quite the right size and shape. This actually worked really well. It looks legitimately insane, but it actually worked. So, you know, you just have to kind of go with what you have at the time, and this did work. And if I did this again, I probably would do this again because it gave a nice result in the end. So I got that in there, made sure that everything was secure, and then left it overnight ready to demold the next day. Okay, it's been 23 hours since I poured these. It is now 3:30. So how many hours is that since So it's about 14 hours since I moulded it, I think. No, it might have been earlier than that. Anyway, doesn't matter. The resin's firm enough that I think I can get these out now. So the big question is whether I'm going to be able to get them out of this bowl, because I've never done this before. Go for this one first because I think I've got something to grip here, so that one should pop out. Hopefully there's enough play that I can just get that out. Cool, okay, that's alright. Texture on the bottom, but that's okay, you're not going to see the bottom. That's awesome. Hard to see the colours on the pink mat, but yeah, cool. I have one bowl. Can I get this one out? Now this one has a bit of a kind of dimple there, which is kind of handy because it means I can sort of get my finger in and try and free this. A little bit of bend in these balls, so there we go, that's popped it. Nice! Oh, for first go at freeform bowls, I think they're okay. Very different from each other. That's what they look like not on the pink mat. I'll put them somewhere better than this and give you some close-ups of what they look like. Really like the colours. The colours are pretty much what I was going for. Yeah, there is a hint of pink in that ruby, the way that it's mixed with the orange, but I'm okay with that. They do look like a Tequila Sunrise kind of vibe. So let me bring you down and see them up close. so here they are in situ. Now she's thick, there's no doubt about it, she has a thick rim, but I think the fluting looks really nice. I love the colours, definitely out of my comfort zone. Everything I make for me is normally in blues and purples. I just love these, I think they're gorgeous. They look great next to my Day of the Dead wax melt holder. I love them. I think they're really, really nice. So for a first go at freeform bowls, I definitely learned a few things. There are things I do differently next time, but overall I've got two really pretty bowls that are great for holding a few things in my bedroom. So let me know which one of these you like, and if you made these, what colours would you do them in? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye for now.